This is the million-dollar question in poultry farming today. It's the question I get asked every single day, in the comments, out in the field, and on the forums. If I'm bootstrapping, if I have little cash, limited space, and I want to start a business today, what puts more actual money in my pocket? In the red corner, we have the heavyweight champion, the Isa Brown. The industrial machine, the hen, genetically engineered over decades to do one thing: lay eggs non-stop. She is the industry standard, the bird you see filling the shelves at Walmart. And in the blue corner, we have the featherweight challenger, the Japanese quail. Small, fast, voracious, and criminally underestimated. You'll hear plenty of coffee shop talk like, chickens are better because the eggs are bigger and everyone eats eggs. Others will tell you, quail are a goldmine because they eat nothing. But today, we aren't dealing in opinions. We are dealing in cold, hard math. We are going to break down feed consumption ounce for ounce, ROI timelines day by day, square footage density, and, most importantly, market psychology. By the end of this video, you won't be guessing. You will know exactly which of these birds will pay your farm's bills and which one might drive you into bankruptcy if you aren't careful. Welcome to the ultimate, no-holds-barred showdown, chicken versus quail. Let's get into it. To keep this comparison fair and professional, we can't make the rookie mistake of comparing one chicken against one quail. That's like comparing the fuel economy of a semi-truck to a dirt bike. Biologically and financially, the golden rule in commercial poultry is biomass equivalence. Let's look at the raw numbers. A high production layer like the Isa Brown or Lohman Brown consumes an average of 4 ounces of feed per day. Think of it as a quarter pounder during peak production. Burn that number into your brain. That is your fixed daily operating cost, whether she lays an egg or not. Now let's look at the quail. An adult Japanese quail, Coturnix japonica, in full bloom, eats somewhere between 0.7 and 0.9 ounces a day. Do the simple math. 5 quail multiplied by roughly 0.8 ounces equals 4 ounces. And guess what? That matches the chicken exactly. Bingo. Now we have a level playing field. One Isa Brown hen costs the same to feed as 5 Japanese quail. From here on out, our entire financial analysis is based on this premise. Who generates more dollar value from those same 4 ounces of feed? The solo hen or the squad of 5 quail? First, let's talk about the Isa Brown. She is a marvel of genetic engineering. This bird has been bred to suppress her natural instincts. She doesn't go broody, she doesn't want to be a mom, she barely has a defense instinct. She lives solely to convert corn and soy into eggs. She's going to give you approximately 1 egg a day during her peak, totaling about 320 to 330 eggs a year under ideal lighting and water conditions. Each egg weighs about 2.2 ounces, a standard large egg. It's a standard product, reliable, and has a tough shell designed to survive cross-country trucking. Now let's look at the quail. They are also production machines, but with a turbocharged metabolism. Individually, one bird can give you about 300 eggs a year. But wait, remember the equivalence rule. You have 5 birds eating the same amount as that one hen. That means from the same bag of feed you gave the chicken, you are collecting 1,500 quail eggs a year. Sounds impressive, right? But don't get blinded by the big number. Let's look at the actual weight. The biomass. 5 quail eggs at roughly 0.4 ounces each equals about 2 ounces of product. The Isa Brown egg weighs 2.2 ounces. It is a technical tie in biomass. Nature is wise. And thermodynamics doesn't lie. The amount of protein and energy coming out of the birds is almost identical to the amount of food going in. On this point, there is no clear winner. Biologically, both are equally efficient at turning grain into protein. But business isn't about biology. It's about cash flow and perceived value. And this is where the quail starts to gain an unfair advantage. Here's where the Isa Brown takes an uppercut to the jaw, the time factor. Let's talk about cash flow, the oxygen your business needs to survive. If you buy an Isa Brown chick today, you have to feed her, house her, vaccinate her, and keep the lights on. For how long? She won't start laying until week 18 or week 20. That is 5 months. Think about that. That's 5 months of taking money out of your pocket every single day without seeing a dime in return. 5 months where that hen can get sick, stressed, or die before laying her first egg. That is a medium-term investment that requires deep pockets. You need the capital reserves to float the operation for half a year with zero revenue. Now look at the Japanese quail. This animal is precocious. It's ridiculously fast. Its life cycle is a sprint. At 6 or 7 weeks old, you have your first egg. Sometimes even sooner if your lighting game is on point. That means while the chicken owner is still waiting another 3.5 months. hemorrhaging money, to see their first egg, you have already been selling, billing, and reinvesting your profits into more feed or more cages for 3 months. In economics, this is vital. Quail allow you to rotate your capital 3 times faster. If something goes wrong with the feed or the market, you find out fast and pivot. If something goes right, you scale up fast. In the analysis of ROI velocity, the quail wins by a landslide. There is no debate here, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let's touch on a dark subject few people talk about: health and hardiness. There are important nuances here. The commercial hen, being so genetically modified, is a bit more delicate regarding vaccination schedules. Newcastle, bronchitis, Gumboro, Morex, coryza. You need a strict sanitary plan, or a virus will wipe out your flock in 2 days. The quail, on the other hand, is more rustic. It's incredibly resistant to many diseases that annihilate chickens. Their higher body temperature helps them fight off certain pathogens. However, they have an Achilles heel: stress and drafts. A cold draft kills a quail faster than a virus. But generally speaking, regarding vet bills and vaccines, quail usually represent a lower cost and less of a headache for the beginner producer who doesn't know how to inject birds or handle live vaccines. Now, let's move to space and infrastructure. Because square footage costs money, whether you own it or rent it. A chicken needs personal space. Even in a cage, you need volume to prevent stress and cannibalism. And if you run a free-range or pastured system, you need to respect the density of 4 or 5 hens per square meter, approx 10 square feet per bird, to keep the bedding dry and avoid respiratory issues. The quail is the queen of vertical farming. It's a bird that doesn't fly long distances and adapts perfectly to tight spaces without suffering, provided they have food and water. On that same footprint where you put 5 hens, you can stack a vertical cage bank 4, 5, or even 6 levels high. And on each level you fit 20 or 30 quail. Check out this brutal stat. In the physical footprint of a standard washing machine, you can have 200 quail producing eggs every single day. Try fitting 40 hens, the consumption equivalent, into the space of a washing machine. It's impossible. It would be animal cruelty and a sanitary disaster. If you live in the city, have a small backyard, live in the suburbs, or even just have a garage available, the Isa Brown is going to limit you due to space and noise. Clucking is loud. Quail are quiet and allow you to have an industrial-scale farm in a spare room. Double points to the quail for spatial efficiency and production density. However, there is a but regarding infrastructure: the smell. Quail manure is much stronger and higher in ammonia than chicken manure. In a closed, small space with 2,000 quail, if you don't clean the trays every single day, the ammonia smell will run you out of the room and make the birds sick. It requires military-grade cleaning discipline, whereas, with chickens on the floor, you can relax a bit more using the deep litter method. So far, quail is winning on speed, space, and hardiness. But here comes the deciding factor, the one that determines if you're driving a new truck or riding a bicycle: market value and consumer psychology. The chicken egg is a commodity. It's a basic staple. It's like selling rice or sugar. You are competing against massive, automated farms with 1 million birds. They can lower the price because they win on massive volume. The price of chicken eggs is often rock bottom due to high supply. To make real money with Isa Browns, you need volume. You need to sell thousands of eggs daily for the pennies of profit to add up to a decent wage. Plus, customers haggle. If you sell at $5 and Walmart sells at $4, they stop buying from you. The quail egg is a niche market. It is psychologically perceived as a superfood, something gourmet, something delicate. People buy them for parties, for kids' lunchboxes, for athlete diets, and to fight allergies, according to popular belief. Let's do the money math, which is what we care about. Do those 5 quail eggs you got for the same feed cost as 1 chicken egg sell for the same price on the street? Absolutely not. Generally, when sold by the dozen or 24-count flats, the market value of those 5 little eggs is anywhere from 30% to 50% higher than the value of a single chicken egg. The customer pays for the novelty. They pay for the health aspect. They pay for the finger food factor. You are spending the same on food, the cost, but you are bringing in much more from the sale, the price. Your profit margin skyrockets. This is where the small producer becomes profitable. Don't compete with giants selling cheap chicken eggs to stingy neighbors. Compete on quality, presentation, and niche with quail. Sell them boiled and peeled, sell them pickled, sell them in fancy packaging. Quail allows you to add value. Chickens make that very hard. And there is one last factor: selling the meat. When the Isa Brown hen finishes her cycle at 80 or 90 weeks, her meat is tough. It's sold cheap for soup stock, almost given away. Sometimes it costs more to pluck her than what they pay you for her. When quail production drops, at a year old, the meat is still considered a delicacy. You can sell the dressed quail, marinated, ready for the grill, at a premium price. You have a real dual-purpose business, eggs all year and gourmet meat at the end of the cycle. With the commercial layer, the meat business is marginal at best. So after analyzing biology, time, space, health, and money, what is the final verdict? Who takes the crown in this arena? For the entrepreneur starting from scratch, for the person with little space, limited capital, who needs to see cash quickly to reinvest and stay motivated, the Japanese quail is the undisputed queen of profitability. It allows you to fail cheap, grow fast, optimize vertical space, and sell a differentiated product at a premium. It is the perfect business school for the new poultry farmer. Does that mean the Isa Brown is useless? Not at all. Don't get me wrong. If you have the capital to build a barn for 5,000 or 10,000 birds, you have land far from the city, and, most importantly, you have mass distribution contracts with supermarkets or bakeries. The Isa Brown is a machine of long-term financial stability, but it requires deep pockets to withstand those 5 months of zero income and massive sales volume to see real profit. My advice, partner, is simple and direct. If you are bootstrapping and your budget is tight, don't overcomplicate your life. Go for the quail. Learn the management, capitalize on that fast cash flow, and then, if you want and have the land, expand into chickens. But remember, genetics don't work miracles if your management sucks. Whichever you choose, watch their feed, their water, and their comfort, because a stressed animal doesn't lay money. Now I want to hear from you, because your experience counts too. Are you team chicken or team quail? Drop it in the comments and tell me if quail eggs fetch a premium price in your area, or if they're a hard sell. If this deep dive opened your eyes and saved you from losing money, smash that like button and subscribe, because here we talk about agribusiness with no filter and the numbers right on the table. To your success, my fellow breeder. Until next time.